My name is Cian from Carlingford Oyster Company, and what I'd like to do now is just show you some really simple recipes for cooking oysters at home if you haven't done it before, to give you a bit of confidence to try it. There's a couple of little hints that I want to give you, really simple ones. The very first one is, if you're buying your oysters, the shell should be tightly closed, and if you tap two oysters together, there should be a really nice solid sound off them. If you hear kind of like a coconut, you know, you clap a coconut together, that means the oyster has started to open and they're not in great condition, okay? The secret to storing oysters is there's a flat shell and a deep shell. And the deep shell is like a little bath, and if you store the oysters this way around, it stores the water inside the shell. Like this, after a day or so, the water leaks out and then the oysters start dying and they're in really poor condition. Like this, they'll store for about 2 weeks, and like this, 2 or 3 days. So it makes a huge difference. I'm going to just show you how to shuck an oyster, which is how to open an oyster. On the deep shell, there's a little kind of nose or beak, and just below the nose, there's a little space where you can stick the oyster knife nice and safely, okay? Don't hold the oyster in your left hand, put it down on your breadboard and get your oyster knife, and you can see that little space just there under the hinge. Wiggle the knife in, we twist, you hear the pop, just clean the knife, okay, and try and keep the knife as high as possible so it doesn't interfere too much with the oyster meat inside the shell. So when you take the top shell off, there should be nothing on the top shell. Okay, that's our dozen oysters opened. I'm just going to do a quick clean round and then I'll show you the dressings for the oysters. First recipe, it's basically breadcrumbs and cheese and a bit of garlic butter. The tip with this recipe is, if you mix the breadcrumbs and cheese together in a bowl, it stays really moist and the cheese doesn't really get tough when it cools down. You want to put a little bit of garlic butter on the oyster first, so just about half a teaspoon of butter on each shell. And very simple, but take the oyster over to the breadcrumbs, sprinkle them on top. Okay. The second recipe is really simple. It's just garlic butter. So you just put a little bit of garlic butter on each oyster. The third recipe, again, is really simple. This is just some sweet chili sauce. You just put about half a teaspoon of sweet chili sauce on each oyster. Okay, that's it, finished. In the oven, about 180 degrees for about 10 minutes, and that's it done. These are really simple recipes for oysters, so I want you to buy some of our oysters, take them home and try them with your friends.